Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a couple of firearms that you can actually buy. And this journey is going to take us all the way to Seoul, South Korea, where Daewoo was headquartered as a multi-divisional industrial powerhouse pumping out consumer products, most notably vehicles. And who could forget such prolific ad campaigns such as Daewoo, faster than a cow. Daewoo, woman, do not drive. Daewoo. It's basically an F-15. Daewoo. When bitches be trippin', you know I be driftin'. All better now. With marketing genius like that, it's no wonder that Daewoo was the second largest conglomerate in South Korea, up until 1999, when they went bankrupt from financial mismanagement. Now, their CEO, shortly after that, Kim Woo-jung, desperately tried to avoid prosecution for embezzlement and became the first man to actually flee into North Korea. It's amazing. Historical. One of Daewoo's divisions was known as Daewoo Precision Industries, and they manufactured arms for the South Korean military, which are exported into the United States. I'm going to talk about two of the most popular of those arms right now on CarniK on Daewoo's. All right, now out of cultural respect, I'm going to be doing this entire episode in traditional South Korean warrior garb. All right, now the first firearm we're going to be looking at is the K5, also known as the DP51 in its imported variation. This is a 13-round 9mm double stack that has a manual safety. You can also find these in calibers like 40 Smith & Wesson and 45 ACP. Now this handgun was designed in the 80s, so it's pretty antiquated by today's standards, but it does have a couple of interesting features. The K5 can be fired from single action, double action, or triple action or fast action pull. Basically what that is, you cock back your hammer, and you can springboard it back into its position or push it forward manually. This is going to let your trigger travel about the distance of a double action pull, but with the weight of a single action discharge. That's pretty interesting, but how useful is it? Flames, white doves, Daewoo, your point is invalid. Now the K5 was definitely influenced by Smith & Wesson's Model 59. To be honest, it doesn't bring a whole lot to the table other than the magic of triple action and possibly rounding out your pistol collection fairly inexpensively. You can find these for around $300 on the used market. Okay, now in the 1970s, South Korea wanted an indigenous rifle. They took a close look at the M16, which they were using on license, and they came up with the K2. Now the K2 is kind of an amalgamation between an AK-47 and an M16. It uses the long stroke gas piston system of the AK-47, but the multi-lug rotating bolt of an M16 or AR-15 design. It also uses the fixed ejector from the AK-47, which is super reliable. Other features of the K2, you got a folding stock. Look at that stock. That's good stock action right there. Not bad at all. Then you also have a charging handle that pops out reminiscent of a FAL. It's reciprocating, rides with the bolt. The bolt release is from an M16, but they did away with the small indent on the bottom of the bolt release and covered it up with a piece of the forged receiver. This is, I'm not really sure why they would do this, I guess to prevent accidental, I don't really get it, but it's very Daewoo. The takedown of the rifle is similar to an FAL, or an AR, I guess. Breaks open shotgun style, and all your guts come out. Fixed ejector located right next to the bolt hold open device. And then there's the selector, which rotates 180 degrees. That's gonna seem like a whole lot compared to your 90 degrees on your AR-15, guys. You're not gonna like that very much. Now, they make aftermarket selectors, but if you get the stock original, this is what you're gonna be looking at. The sights themselves are pretty refined, they're nice. All of your adjustments are done on the rear side, both elevation and windage. Your front side is gonna be fixed. It's not adjustable. This thing's tacked and drilled for a scope or an accessory rail like a Picatinny rail for your optics, but the receiver itself is pretty large. and you're going to get pretty high up on your optics here. It's really more of an iron sight, straight iron sight type of weapon. Then the trigger itself, it's probably the most refined feature of the Daewoo rifle. The trigger's excellent. It has a super short travel and reset distance. The pull can be as low as 3.5 pounds, depending on how you engage your trigger. So it's a very nice trigger for a stock trigger. All right, now if you compare the Daewoo to the AR-15, it's gonna be horribly antiquated, okay? This thing doesn't have efficient use of space. It's pretty large for what it does. The manual of arms is a little bit awkward. It's not very proficient, I guess is what I would say. But you have to remember, this was designed in the 70s. So for the 70s, it had some features that were way ahead of its time. It's addressing problems that people are trying to get at today, like mixing a piston with a multi-lug rotating bolt design. And this did this back in the 70s, so it's a pretty cool rifle. It's also still current issue. The South Korean military is still using this today, and they'll still be using it until 2020, when it's scheduled to be replaced by the new South Korean standard rifle. So that's all I got. Thanks.
월드카 르망 탄생. 첨단 기술, 연비 혁신, 미래 감각의 안전 설계. 21세기의 승용차 르망. 세계 시장을 제패하겠습니다. 세계로 미래로 월드카 르망. 대우 자동차.